coming to US, learning it, becoming a partner, taking the technology to Mexico. How do you go off of that?
I think it all comes from the love to dentistry.
Who is the most famous celebrity in Mexico who's your patient?
I'll do Diego Boneta, Renata Notni, Dana Paula.
Welcome to another episode of the podcast. We have Dr. Arturo Arcienega as our guest. He's a celebrity dentist in Mexico City. He only treats famous people, actors, and athletes. He also leverages social media to build his brand, which is a fascinating story. He has more than 2 million followers on Instagram. I hope you enjoy it.
So what were the limitations of becoming a dentist in Mexico?
Nowadays it's the same problem. We are still missing a lot of products, a lot of technology, a lot of the new things that comes up. We are missing all that.
Arturo, with your profile, the reputation that you have in Mexico, you could choose the easy route of coming to US, opening up a practice, but you stayed in Mexico with all the limitations that you have in there. Why did you choose that path? When I look at you, I see a artist. The way your style, your glasses, your designer jackets, everything. Do you see yourself more of an artist or a dentist? And how did that become part of your brand and character?
It's actually very interesting. I think dentistry is a mixture of art and science. And talking about science, we can speak about medical science. And then also we have to notice engineering, because a lot of implant, for example, or crowns are mechanics, right? So there's a lot of engineering. But then what makes the difference between one work and another, it's art. Because like if you're especially on cosmetics, it's all about the art. So that the way I do veneers, difference from another doctor, it's our hands and our mind, the way I perceive things, light, color, shape, texture, size. So yeah.
So your style is right now part of your brand. Were you always with this style, or you built it over time?
When I just started dentistry, I think I felt like I was performing a character, because I thought I had to be like a doctor, like doctor, it's all like clean, shaved, correct. And all of a sudden I noticed I liked tattoos and I liked piercings and I liked the things in a very different way. And I probably thought at some point I was in a problem, because I wanted to be myself, but then whenever I showed up to the office, I had to be this character of a doctor. Even though I loved dentistry, but my dream was to do dentistry my way. And eventually, with years, I decided, hell with it, like I'm just going to be myself. And whoever likes it to come to me, and then whoever doesn't, then just can go somewhere else. In the very beginning, of course, you're young. And that's... Like we were speaking before this about ages, because he asked me, how old are you, And a lot of people nowadays, they tell me, oh, you look younger. And I'm like, oh, yeah, perfect.
Yes.
But when I was younger, then I was too young, because I'm going to perform surgery on you. And if I look too young, then they're like, oh, but you sure you look too young, and do you know what you're doing? So that was like a weapon against me also. But yeah, with time, I decided I'm just gonna be myself, because to enjoy the whole thing, being in the office, do what I love, I have to feel comfortable. And so yeah, tattoos welcomed.
What do your patients say? How do they like it?
They all love it. I don't know if it's because of what I am now. But ever since I remember, they were like, oh, you look good. I like your tattoos. Oh, I like your hair. And I get a lot of comments from young dentists on social media, and they ask me about it. Like, how does it go with patients? Because I want to get a tattoo. Would you recommend me to do it? And I'm like, yeah, just be yourself. We have to improve that. And I think, well, I don't know if in other countries, but in my country, my point of view, my perspective is we have a lack of appreciating what's on our inside, the core of the people, you know. So we have to take care of that because that's what matters. The appearance, you know, like you might look at the perfect doctor and you know nothing, or you don't have principles, but then there might be another doctor that looks tattooed, pierced, I don't know, hair messed, whatever. But what's inside of that person might be the best doctor, right? So you
I
never
think
know.
what matters here is just be authentic of yourself. That's what you just mentioned it, and that's what resonates with your patients.
Yeah.
What is the most expensive dental service?
I think cosmetics, because in Mexico I charge around 13 to 1400 a veneer or a crown
Per unit.
per unit. But the States, there's guys that charges around 5,000 per unit.
So what's the total cost of a full set veneer?
It'll be around, let's say, 26,000 for 20 veneers. But US, you'll come up to $100,000.
That's right. It's expensive. Electric toothbrush or manual?
I will go with electric. One point here that it's very important, it's a lot of people think because it's electric toothbrush, then you don't have to do anything. It'll do everything by itself, and it's not. So you guys have to be very careful you have to make your hand movements as it was a manual toothbrush. It just gives you like a better cleansing because of the movement of the head of the toothbrush. So that's a plus. And also I like most of them have function for the timing. Even they like advise you to switch sides. That's a very clever point because whenever we brush our teeth regularly, we are in a hurry. And so you brush here, brush here, and you miss out 2 or 3 parts. And if you keep missing those parts, then you're not performing an adequate cleaning, right? So with this electric toothbrush, you have a timer where it tells you if you are done it the right amount of time. But a lot of them, they also have like a beep or something that makes you like go from quadrant to quadrant.
Yeah, it tells you
so
what
that
to
you
do.
can. Yeah.
What's your favorite brand?
I don't have a favorite.
Yeah, you do? Sonicare? Mine is Sonicare.
I'll probably Oral-B.
Oral-B.
Yeah.
Audit.
Like
As a
that.
cosmetic dentist, what's the hygiene advice you have for the people?
I think we have to floss more. A lot of people, they talk about brush and even mouth rinse because it's easy. But flossing is very important because not the toothbrush, not the mouth rinse. It's going to go to that places. So do it at least once a day. I would recommend to do it at night before you go to bed, and try to make sure you like take care of each interproximal, space on your teeth, because it will definitely help you prevent a lot of issues on your mouth health.
Arturo, what advice you have for aspiring dentists who look up to you?
I would say what I wanted to do in life is keep doing what I love. And as soon as I found out that I liked, because I think in that time I couldn't say I loved dentistry, as I know that I liked dentistry, and I started that trip around studying and working, let's call it like that. I found out that I loved dentistry. And so what I could tell these guys or people around the world, that was a journey for me. And I think it took time from me. So let's go to the point. Find out what you love to do and focus on that. Because I know a lot of people, they might be doing dentistry, but they love something else. Just focus on that something else, because then you will never have to work one day of your life. That's what I've been living since then. So I always tell my patients I've never worked a day in my life, because a lot of people, they see how like hard I work, but they don't realize I'm doing what I love. So that's why I do it with pleasure. That's why I take my time. That's why I enjoy it, because I love what I do. I love dentistry.
Amazing. Did you always wanted to be a dentist?
Always wanted to be a dentist. I was since I was a children, I had issues with my teeth. When I was children, my mom put me to sleep with a bottle on my mouth. And so from a very young age, I had to go to the dentist because all my front teeth got decayed. And in the very early days, I remember I hated to go. I used to cry, but I don't know, at some point of my growing up and childhood, I started to like the instruments. It's just very weird. Whenever you see something that attracts you, like even though it's probably making you feel uncomfortable going to the office and getting treatment done. But then I looked to the hand pieces and to the instruments, and I liked them. I remember that. And whenever I kept growing, you come to a point where you have to decide what you're going to do with your life. So here comes the question, what you going to study, right? And I thought dentistry. And I liked medicine also. So I put a lot of effort on learning medical stuff because I liked it. But dentistry was still always the top choice. And so that's how I decided. My parents always were like, are you sure? But I never doubted it. Never.
What about your family? Do they have any medical or art background?
My mom and dad, they're architects.
Oh.
My sister studied graphic design and 3D compositing, visual effects. So I think we all have that artistic background. And then my grandpa, he painted a lot and did sculpture. He was an artist. He loved painting and sculpting and all about art. So from that point, I think I got a little bit of that part from him. Yeah.
So you come from a family of artists, basically.
Yeah.
That's where you get your art. And dentistry is, in a way, is art. We talked about it. It's the art of light manipulation.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we were speaking before, dentistry is a combination of many things. You might be a smart person, but you have to have the hands to deliver. And I think those hands have to be artistic ones so that you can deliver as close as you can of what you imagined, no? So, yeah, I think.
So what were the limitations of becoming a dentist in Mexico rather than if you could do that career in the US?
Well, nowadays it's the same problem. We are still missing a lot of products, a lot of technology, a lot of the new things that comes up. We are missing all that. So I think it comes to a point where you have to look somewhere else and try to get all that knowledge and all that, like get to know the new technologies from somewhere else. Unfortunately, when you are in university, well, you're not knowing the whole world out there you're missing. So I would just recommend to young students to just keep an open mind and keep looking out there in the world, especially nowadays. When I studied, internet was not what it is today. Now you guys have an amazing weapon where you can just open up an iPad or a phone or a computer and look what's going on, pretty much whatever you want to do, right? So look for that, and that might help me in that time to grow faster and to learn better and easier and faster.
What university did you go to?
I went in Mexico City to Universidad Intercontinental. I think I got pretty good basis. Now I still think they're good enough, but as I said before, there's a lot missing on education and in my country. So that's why I decided to work on that, because I remember I used to, whenever I got new staff on the clinic, I used to get mad or frustrated because they were missing up a lot of concepts or basics. And later on, I noticed it's not their fault. They're really part of the system, and it's the system's fault. So in order to change that, the only thing I can do is cooperate with studies, right? So that's why I try to nowadays develop the university or develop the college that I want to build up, so that I can help these young people. That I think it reminds me of myself when I wanted to study more or learn more and get that knowledge, but in an easier way, right? So yeah, maybe try to make that way easier for them, and bring people from all around the world. Take advantage of the blessing that I have to know people like you, Amir, that own a big enterprise of technology and developing of dental industry, and bring them to Mexico so that they can share all that info with young students, right?
Yeah, and what I find very interesting about you is that desire to learn. And you were telling me how you had to come to America or Europe to get some advanced courses or training or technology that was not available in Mexico, and just even getting involved in 3D printing. You're way ahead of a lot of U.S. dentists coming to U.S., learn it, becoming a partner, taking the technology to Mexico. How do you go off of that?
I think it all comes from the love to dentistry, because you always try to look forward to keep growing, keep interested. Even though I love profession, I have to keep interested. So there has to be always something new, and that's why I kept looking for something else. Where's the leading person of cosmetics, or leading person for implantology, leading person or leading industry of for dental 3D printing, right? And that's why you come up to that path where you start to connect all those dots and end up in the right places, I think, at the right time.
And you took courses in the U.S.
Yeah, I started on Los Angeles. Guide.
Santa Monica.
Yes, Santa Monica. When I was very young, probably just right after I got off of school, of university, I started to work with one of my professors, and there was a guy there that supplied the implants for this teacher of mine, and I was interested in keep learning, but I wanted to come to US. So I asked him if he could recommend a course or a doctor to come take a course with him or to his school or whatever. And he came up with Sasha. And that's why I remember he mentioned, oh, you should go see Sasha Jovanovic. And I was like, oh yeah, I've heard, and I remember I read some of his articles on university. So that's why I decided to come to Los Angeles, and that was for my implant and tissue management and bone graft and all that formation. And for cosmetics, I went to NYU, and actually that's where I met Shant. We went to the same courses in NYU for cosmetics and prosthetics also.
Dr. Appa?
Yeah. And so yeah, like I said, I keep meeting interesting people and sharing the same passion for dentistry. Amir, I have a question for you.
Tell me.
I was wondering, what's the perception of the American dentist or American people from Mexican dentistry?
I would answer it from a technology standpoint. What I see, what you're doing, how many forward-thinking dentists are out there coming in, learning, taking the technology there is very inspiring to me, ahead of a lot of even U.S. dentists. But clinically, I think this is a question that should be answered by a clinician. I'm not well qualified. Why don't we FaceTime our mutual friend Shant,
Okay.
Dr. Auranian, and
Let's ask
see
him.
what he has to say. I texted him before. Let's FaceTime him.
Perfect.
Shant, how are you, my friend? We got to keep you closer to microphone. So I'm sitting with Dr. right here.
Hey, bro. What's up?
We have Dr. Arturo Arcienega, and he has a question. He asked me a very tough, loaded question. I said, you know what? I'm going to call my friend to answer it. Go ahead and ask the question.
So it would be, what's the perception of Mexican dentistry from an American point of view? And I'm asking professional way, but also I would like to hear like just a personal point of view.
Okay. So, professionally, I know there are many great dentists like you in Mexico. I follow many of them and know how great of work they do. Personally, too, I have some family friends that have homes in Mexico, and they have specific dentists they go to. But generally speaking, a lot of times patients go to Mexico to get something done quickly, and that doesn't have the best perception. But I think that's because, what dentists can do, some rushed procedures, seeing the patient for the first time. It's a tricky thing because people go for a weekend and expect all their problems to be done quickly.
Yeah, correct. I agree.
Awesome. Thank you, Shant.
You got it, guys.
Great talking to you. Today, you are the dentist of a lot of famous people in Mexico. Pretty much top celebrities are coming to you. I assume that wasn't the case. You built it over years. So I want to see the process of becoming a dentist of the Los Famosas.
Oh, it started a long time ago. I think it was a friend of mine who recommended a girl, and she was a TV host for, I think it was Fox Sports or something like that.
What year?
Probably 2015, 16.
That was the first celebrity that you treated.
Yeah. And I remember I delivered veneers for her. It's just, I think it was my work. I always try to do my best and deliver the best that I can. And that has worked for me during these years. I always try my best to deliver the best that I can, and so I did with her, and that's how it started. She referred with someone else. In that time, Twitter was a big thing, so I remember she tweeted something about she came and visited me, and that's how it started. Then Facebook came in, and then Instagram, and it's been kind of like that all the journey throughout the years. But yeah, it started like that.
And then what happened then?
I kept on going. All these recommendations from it's really funny to see how then all the paths combine at some point, because I've got referred from Instagram, but all of a sudden when the patient comes in, if he's famous or something, there's some other people that are entrepreneurs or whatever, and they find out that they go to the same dentist, but they came from different paths. So it's just all about recommendation from mouth to mouth, and the other is social media. But in the end, I think it's all about the work. It's all about delivering a good service to them, listening to them so that they can speak well from you, right?
I think it's about the trust that they have in your work. And that's not easy. That's over years that you built it. And who is the most famous celebrity in Mexico who's your patient?
I have several.
Name three.
I'll do Diego Boneta. I'll do Renata Notni y Dana Paula.
Dana Paula.
They're two actors, and Dana Paula is a singer.
And it must be very demanding to treat these high-profile patients.
It's very stressful because it doesn't matter if they're actors or singers, they all have a camera on. And so because most of the work we do is cosmetics, you have to take care of professionals and then schedule everything to their hard, like tight schedules. So it is stressful. It is rewarding, and a lot of people that are like, oh, it's amazing.
Give us the specifics. What are the challenging aspects of treating those type of clientele?
Sometimes you have to work in a hurry. You're all the time on stress because they will come to the office so that we can prepare their teeth or whatever and send them to the set again with professionals. And the set not all the time is in Mexico. They film all around the world. Like they come to the US, and it's not like if something breaks or bad behaves, you can fix it right away. I have football players too, soccer players, and one of my best friends, his family, they go with me, Bruno and Maggie. They're like my brothers because I knew them like right when they arrived to Mexico to play with America, which is like one of the biggest clubs in Mexico. And now they moved to Argentina. He plays for Boca Juniors. So they have to keep going and coming back, and the work has to go with them. And it's a work that has to deliver for 10 or more years, right? So it's always stressful.
Share a fun story.
A lot of patients, they get the work done. And I'm talking about Bruno has told me that. And then there's someone else. It's not only one or two, it's several patients. And they're like, oh, everyone loves my teeth, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, perfect. Have you tell them they're veneers? And I'm, no. I tell them they're my teeth. You know, come on, I need to make money.
That's cool.
So refer me patients. I'm just joking, but yeah, they're like, everyone loves my smile, but they think they're natural.
Very good.
Yeah.
Arturo, with your profile, the experience you have with celebrities, the reputation that you have in Mexico, you could choose the easy route of coming to US, opening up a practice, and starting that career there. But you stayed in Mexico with all the limitations that you have in there, and you're killing it in there. And this is something not a lot of people do. I personally didn't choose that route. I came to the US with which everything is structured and is much more easier route of success.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that path?
I mean, I love my country. You guys are very fortunate because here, the US market, it's just everything works fine, like a brand new car, right? But still in Mexico, I love my country. I love my people. I see a lot of young dentists studying, dedicating time to dentistry. And if I'm honest, when I started, I had to look forward for a role model. I had to look to some other country. We talked about education and all that stuff, but in order to follow someone, let's say more mature, bigger, cooler, remained in edge technology advances, you had to look outside of the country. In that point of view, I wanted to make sure they have several doctors that they can look up to, but they're Mexican or they're Latin. And for that, I had to remain there to build up and show them that it can be done. And, well, you have to prove that, right? And once you're in a battle, you have to keep working, keep fighting until you reach whatever you decide to reach. To have good partners for that, it's very important. So that's why I'm in that matter. I'm very fortunate that I was being able to move or travel around like U.S. or whatever you mentioned, and gather all those partners, name them friends, name them industry, so that they can help me. But yeah, my point of view is if that rate of treatments or rate of technology it's in the U.S., it should be here too. And the only way to achieve that was staying and working to get it and to get it done and to deliver in my own country. And I also, I love my country. So if I'm able to work and do what I love and feel comfortable because I'm living where I want to live, that's the best way. It's hard, but it pays off, I think.
Yeah, it's very admirable. What was the role of social media in your success?
Huge, man.
If you want to give it percentage, what percentage you give to social media?
It gave me a platform where I grew up really fast, I think. I remember when I was working at my professor's office, they still talked about paying publicity on the phone book, remember? And that was like, oh man, so someone has to look for a dentist over words and look for you. And then when social media came up, I immediately knew that I had to be there. Whenever that first patient that we talked about, famous patient, came in and I saw the potential that she or he could like post something and a lot of people got to see that, I was like, that's what I have to be. Like all the efforts have to go to that line, right? Whether it was Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or the website, the AdWords, whatever it was on that time, I had to effort on that. So I focused on literally social media, and I think it paid off. In the end, nowadays, most of my patients, they come from social media.
How many followers you have across all platforms?
I have 1.9 million on Instagram.
That's the biggest?
That's the biggest. And then TikTok, I have close to 500,000. And Facebook, I have around 76,000 on the page. And YouTube, en pañales, como decimos en español. So I'm very small in YouTube. I'm trying to figure out what type of content to upload there, because what I do know and I can tell you is every social media platform is different. So you have to develop different content for every platform. But I think it's also fun because you get to show different parts of yourself to
get audience,
to the people.
Yeah. How many years did it take to get from 0 to 1 million?
Holy man. more than 6 years.
6 years. What
Yeah.
about 0 to 100,000?
In that time, we were talking about that earlier this morning. In that time, the growing was faster. Like we said, algorithm change every year, every month or so, and I think that's the way they do it on purpose. It's harder to grow every day. It's harder to achieve or to get more followers. So in that time, probably to go from 1 to 10,000, it could be in a month or
Wow.
a few weeks, because someone famous went to the office. But nowadays, I will get patients which have like 4 million followers, and I will get back, I don't know, maybe 1,000, 2,000.
How many followers do you get every month right now?
It depends, because around 5,000.
A month.
Yeah, it depends on a lot of stuff. The content you make, who shows up to the office. You have to pay to, so like they can share your content.
Right.
So it depends of a lot of factors.
And with such a big following, how much time you spend in there essentially managing social media? Also, there are two questions here. Second one is, how do you come up with authentic content? It's hard to maintain that stream of authenticity.
Well, till probably a year and a half ago, I did it all myself. So I snapped my pictures. I created my text.
Everything.
Yeah, everything by me. My Instagram, I'm the one who answers the DMs. I don't like
Everything.
someone
Wow.
else to. Yeah.
How many DMs do you get every day?
It depends on the content. It
I
depends
see.
on who goes. But sometimes a lot of times I try to send them to the WhatsApp, but I can tell you the WhatsApp phone, it can get up to 500 messages on one day. If something cool comes up, 500,
Wow.
600. Yeah, sometimes the people that helps me with the phone, they go crazy. Like I have to upload a story to tell them, hey guys, it's not that we don't want to answer. It's just there's a lot of messages, so give us some time, right? So yeah, it's crazy sometimes.
Do you advise to aspiring dentists to start help on social media?
Of course, it's a way of sharing knowledge. It's a way of sharing points of view. It's a way of sharing experiences. So yeah, of course.
How do you make content? Do you make them for dentists or making for general public?
Well, to be honest, in the very beginning, I always focus on patients. I like business, and we have to remember dentistry, as every profession is, in the end, it's a business. So I thought if I focus on dentists, that's advertised for me, that it's not going to come up good. So I wanted to focus on patients, and all my content has been thinking always on the patient, on regular people. Probably from a year and a half ago to now, I'm starting to work on the university, on the school, and now I'm thinking developing more content for dentists also.
Spanish, essentially Spanish content.
Yeah,
How's the demand for Spanish clinical content?
I think it's very strong. Like we talked about when I was looking for knowledge, for teaching, everything is in English. So you have to come to the States or go to Europe. And of course, in Europe, you have different languages, but mainly English. So I found out that language is a big barrier for a lot of people, at least in my country, as I perceive. And I think it's very important to create more knowledge and more content in Spanish, and even think about English native speakers to try to jump into this Latin Spanish market and try to help us deliver the knowledge in their native language, which is Spanish.
We know dentistry is a very physically demanding job. A lot of standing up, a lot of handwork.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself healthy?
You have to work out every day. I think that's a very, very, very strong point. To be able to deliver to your patients, to be able to keep enjoying what you do, you have to stay healthy. And in our profession, the back, it's really hard on us. I have to keep on working every day in the morning, especially focused. My trainer, I always tell them to focus on my back. So yeah, I will tell all the young guys out there, just dedicate some time each day to make some exercise.
What's your routine?
I wake up at 6 a.m. I work out.
1 hour?
Yeah, at least 1 hour. And
What kind of exercise?
I do a lot of functional, just because I don't want to like grow or whatever. I just want to stay strong. And like I said, especially the back. When I was younger and I got complaints from my teachers or professors that they complain about their back or elbows or neck ache. And I thought, oh man, you're exaggerating. But nowadays, I'm 41. So now I know what they were talking about. And I have to sleep with my pillows. I have to work out my back so that I can keep on going and enjoying what I do and enjoying what I built.
And how does future look like for Arturo? What do you have in the next 5-year, 10-year vision?
I want to slow down clinically a little bit because I want to focus on the school branch. I think as legacy, it's a nice path to leave a legacy on education. I think it's noble to try to give back a little bit to the profession, right? To help young students to go in their path faster and easier and help them that way.
Amazing. Thank you, Arturo, for coming to Los Angeles. It was great to have you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me, Amir.